Is that a picture of John Wayne Gacy?
That's one he painted. Yeah.
Wait, John Wayne Gacy painted that?
I mean, this is a postcard of it, but it's not, but yeah, but this is one of his. He did so many of these. Dude, we should go. There's a serial killer museum in the suburbs.
Oh, I would love to go to that.
Yeah, that they have the originals. They have some of the originals. So this is just a postcard version, but that is he dressed up like a clown, you know?
Right.
Right.
Oh, I know all about my John Wayne Gacy.
Welcome to the Let's Make Them Pay podcast. I am your host, Scott Bennett. Today, we have a very special guest, horror writer C.K. Morris. He released his first title, The Shadow Family, just last year, and is hard at work on his next project. C.K. Morris is also known as Bill Klazura, a dear personal friend and co-worker of mine at an unnamed Chicago area media organization. Bill, welcome. Thank you so much for coming here today.
Thank you,
brother.
Thank you for having me.
It is an absolute pleasure.
Oh my God, the pleasure is all mine. First of all, I need to congratulate you on how good of a job you're doing. It's extremely inspirational to me.
Oh, wow.
You're like killing it, man.
Wow. I don't know about killing it.
No, absolutely you are. It's so great. I really, really enjoy watching your videos and giving us like such an like your take. You know what I mean? And I love it. That's what we need, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that so much. And I also loved your book, The Shadow Family. I wanted to talk about it. But first, before we go any further in this podcast, I would like to introduce make a cameo appearance here today of Veronica Bennett, who is having her 21st birthday party today. Veronica, why don't you stand up for the camera? Come here. You may hear Veronica during the recording of this podcast. She's going to be sitting in with us, but she's going to be very, very quiet also. Thank you, Veronica. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Veronica.
All right. That's my girl. Okay. Yeah. So let's start with your first novel, The Shadow Family. I love this book partly because you achieve something so rare in the horror genre, a horror comedy that's actually funny and scary at the same time, which is so hard to do. It's so rare. You can hardly ever think of it ever happening. What were your inspirations for this book?
You know, that's a really good question. I think for The Shadow Family specifically, it sort of morphed. It started with one thing, and then like all ideas too. I think slowly but surely, it morphs into a different thing.
Yes.
And I don't know. I just sat down, and it just sort of like became a thing.
Yeah.
Like it just slowly but surely, almost like building a house. You know, like brick by brick, it just turned into its own thing.
What were some of the original ideas that got you going, that actually built some momentum?
Yeah, it like started, there was this random idea that I had, and maybe it's like a little soft spot I've always had it in my, like I always think about like outsiders, like people who for whatever reason like don't have a community, and it always like kind of like makes me sad, but it's like there's something that's scary about it, but like also like deeply sad. And so it started with this idea of like what happened if there was somebody who had a wedding and who like invited a bunch of people they didn't know to be their bridesmaids, like almost like a Craigslist ad.
Yeah.
So it was like a bunch of like strangers coming together. And that was like an interesting mystery to me. And I started thinking about that, toying around with that idea. And then slowly but surely, like all these characters, Eleanor, Olivia, all of these people came together. It morphed from a bridesmaid to somebody, you know, turning 18. Then it was just a birthday party, inviting someone that they didn't know who happened to be a distant cousin. And then like slowly but surely these ideas came together, and then it just became its thing.
I'm curious also about your main character. That was Olivia, right?
Yeah.
She had one leg, and she had this dramatic thing happen. You find out about it in the story, the origin story. But like, where did that come from? That's such an unusual choice to have a main character. You're a man writing a female main character with one leg. Like, how did that come about?
I really wish I had prepared an answer for that one. I really don't know. I mean, I'm a very plot heavy. So my first love was always screenplays.
Yes. You were doing that for years before you got to this novel.
Like since like I was 10 years old, I was writing some like truly horrible scripts. And but my family was amazing. They all read it and they all championed it.
That's
but like it was always a movie thing. So I always knew, you know, not to give anything away, but I always knew that like the one leg was gonna play into the plot at some point.
Yeah.
And then, like, I think just because I have a fascination with plotting, almost probably where it's like a sickness and maybe even an issue and a detriment to my writing itself, where, like, I knew it started becoming something that, showed its head multiple times,
Yeah.
thematically,
Yeah.
backstory-wise, and then also potentially, in certain situations.
Yeah. No, that's great. I would one other thing I loved about your book is your love of wordplay. You love throwing those big $5 words in when you get a chance. Where did that begin?
Well, I actually think the wordplay thing specifically came from my love of, like, old comedy because I would all Abbott and Costello,
Oh, fantastic.
oh my god. Like, talk about, like, the kings of comedy. I mean, without a doubt, like, I've always, Who's on First, their movies, I have a collection of all their Universal movies, which also intersects with horror. It's crazy how much horror and comedy go together.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things. And it's funny. I had asked you before the interview if you could come up with like maybe 5-year all time. And I'm not asking for that right this second, but I was thinking about it too. And one of mine, which I didn't put on the list because I thought it was too dorky, was Abbott and Costello Meet the Wolfman.
No, that not dorky at all.
I love that one so
Yeah.
much. And it's got Bela Lugosi, it's got Lon Chaney Jr. playing the Wolfman, and I think somebody, maybe Boris Karloff too, playing Frankenstein. It's got, it's just like all the biggies show up. It's like it's almost like an Avengers movie, but with the Universal horror guys. Veronica, hey, would you mind? Thank you. Jumping right in there.
No, yeah, The Mummy, Frankenstein,
Yeah, I love
The
all those
Invisible
old.
Man.
Yeah.
And I have, like, great memories of, like, watching that with my, like, grandparents,
Yeah.
because obviously they were the ones who got me into it. Yeah.
Psst, hey. Oh boy. All right. All right. This is something that you and I talk about a lot because we're both writers. But what does your writing process look like, Veronica Louise? All right, please stop. Daddy's trying to record this. If you please stop, okay? Please stop getting on camera because I'm recording this. I've got to put this out on the internet. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Veronica Louise. What a goose. All right. All right. So, when you were putting this novel together, you're learning as you go because
Yeah.
this is your first novel that you finished.
Oh, yeah.
What did your writing process look like? What kind of what did you develop? What worked for you?
Um, well, what the writing process looked like was me working all day, then coming home, sitting at my laptop, literally, like, banging my head against the keyboard for, like, another, like, 10 hours.
10 hours? You would do
Yeah,
10 hours?
I wouldn't get to sleep until, like, 1 AM.
OMG.
And when I would go to sleep, I had this terrible, this terrible realization where I'm like, "Oh my god, I wrote, like, 3/4 of a page in the last 10 hours."
It
And
feels dispiriting.
well, you know what? But in a strange way, it doesn't. Like, it was
Still
like
feel like some achievement was some progress was made.
right. It's like even if I got little done on the page,
Yeah.
I did feel as though, like, I worked out everything I felt like I needed to work out.
Yes.
And I actually enjoyed that. Like, I have this, like, masochist. I think I have this strange personality where, and it's the same way, like, that I love, like, remodeling stuff, even
Yeah.
though I have no idea what I'm doing.
That's not true. You've
Like,
done a ton of remodeling.
no, I don't know what I'm doing. But there's something about, like, throwing yourself into a situation, being like, there's no way I can or should be able to finish this.
Yeah.
And then, when it's done, it's like, wow, I accomplished something,
I still get a little sense of accomplishment every time I finish reading a book. I'm like,
Fair.
it's because when I was a kid, it was always like, I finished it,
Right.
and it always felt like, all right, that I did something. I did something.
Well, it's like that feeling, like, and obviously you're loving the book that you're reading, otherwise you wouldn't be reading it. Or maybe you do, and maybe you push through it. But there is, like, even when you're, like, going from chapter to chapter and you turn that page and you see that half a page and you're like, oh, I'm so close. I'm so close to the end of that chapter.
Yep.
There
Gotta
is
finish it.
there is that great feeling for
Yeah.
sure.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Well, and I'm curious about you too, because we both love horror.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about, like, why you love horror?
Yeah. It's funny. My dad liked horror when I was a kid. Oh, here to Veronica Louise on her birthday.
Okay.
Please stop. I used to love watching TV with my dad. We would always watch TV together. He had a big, cozy, comfy chair. It's okay. The screen turned off, but it's still recording. I could see the little green light. We're good. Um, my dad had a big Barca lounger, and he'd sit it, and I'd like tuck in next to him, and it'd be real cozy, and we'd sit and watch TV, and we'd watch like the Abbott and Costello or the old Universal horror pictures, or he would let me see even more modern horror pictures too.
Right.
And I always felt safe, watching with him, but it was exciting to me. It was exciting. And it reminds me of, I also love going to like haunted houses around Halloween, the ones that you pay to go to.
Right.
And I love that moment of please stop. Something jumps out and scares you. Ah! And you go, ah, and then you start laughing because you're not in any actual danger.
Right.
And I love that there's a little bit of sense of relief and release to that, the horror and then the laughter afterwards.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Probably another reason why comedy and horror seem to go together so
I think
well.
so.
Yeah.
I was gonna talk about this when we talked about favorite horror movies, but my number one on my list is American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
John Landis. So John Landis, a comedy director mostly, like Blues Brothers, another one of my favorite movies. Trading Places, another of my favorite movies, and American Werewolf is genuinely terrifying. Like the creature effects, Rick Baker, doing the werewolf transformation. What an amazing scene. Like really great shock scares.
Right.
Like they several jump scares in that movie that like really get you. His buddy who keeps coming back more and more decayed over the course of the movie as his corpse rots in the ground. Oh my gosh. But then there's also like hilarious laugh lines and pratfalls and
yes.
Like the business. There's these two this one bumbling British detective and a competent detective, and this bumbling British detective is like knocking things over in this office, and it's such a great one. Do you have any horror comedies you remember that you love?
Well, I think also in a strange way, like my one of my favorite horror movies, and that's because I was born in 91, so I obviously have a soft spot for slashers because that's kind of what I grew up with. But like Scream.
Yeah.
I mean, Scream is so clever.
Yes.
So hilarious.
Yeah, that's right in your wheelhouse too, like bringing talking plot throughout the movie.
Right. And satire, right? Like this, like the social comment and the satire, the self-referential sort of horror that sort of became super popular around that time. So then obviously that lends itself also to Cabin in the Woods.
Another on my top 5.
That's on my top 5 too.
No way.
Yeah.
The finale of that movie can't be topped.
Yeah.
Like I was just talking about this movie last weekend with somebody. It was on, and I watched a few minutes of it. I love it. Chris Hemsworth, Thor himself, before he was Thor. But the ending with all the monsters, it's so crazy. And then the person I was talking to was saying it was a missed opportunity that they never did a sequel, and I disagree. I think it's like even better. That makes that movie even better that they haven't done 5 sequels now.
Right.
Because it stands alone. It's like that's it.
And there's so many like fun little Easter eggs in that movie.
Totally.
Like my favorite one, and I'm sure everyone knows this because it's just too funny. But like when you look at the whiteboard, when they're in sort of like control,
they have all the monsters listed,
which is clearly a take 2 on like broadcast television, which is fun, something that we would understand. And, you've got the director, the producers, everybody there, and you got the screens, and of course you get like Tim. As one of them. So if you pause the movie and you read, there's all these like crazy
references to other horror movies,
like Billy Zombie, or whatever it is, the redneck zombie, like all these crazy references, and then there's just Tim.
Who knows what that one was?
And it's like, who knows who Tim was?
I love Bradley Whitford's character puts in, he wants the merman to come and kill everybody, and they fight. They're it's like a running joke, like, aha, you picked the merman, what a dork. And then the merman finally shows up and kills Bradley Whitford. It is absolutely terrifying.
A bit of poetic justice there.
Yeah.
Like he finally gets his wish, right?
But he was genuinely scary, more scary than I imagined a merman could be.
Very true.
But I love all the little Easter eggs, like you said, of the different monsters who are like references to other monsters from other horror movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So great.
Oh,
What a
just-
clever idea. What a creative idea that movie was. I loved it.
It really seems like, and I feel like that's what my favorite horror is like, I just want to be entertained. Like I want to have a good time. You know, I want to have, and that doesn't mean I don't, because obviously there's masterpieces that are absolutely disturbing and horrifying. Like Hereditary
Yes.
is up there.
Ari Aster, so fantastic.
Yes.
Hereditary and Midsummer.
Oh,
Great.
oh, I mean, those are movies where when you're watching it, you're like, I shouldn't be watching this. Like there's a voice in the back of your head that's like, this should not be allowed to be shown to me. Like there's something so deeply unsettling.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, and I think that movie is a masterpiece. I
Yeah.
think he's a genius, and I
Yeah.
love that film.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put that on my top 5 because
Right.
when I think of my top 5, I'm thinking of movies that like if it's on, I need to watch it.
Right.
Like I need to just sit there.
Right.
You couldn't yank me from my seat. I'm just gonna
Totally.
yeah. So like I would also put, you know, like for me, obviously Scream is on there.
Yeah.
The Thing.
I love The Thing. I love The Thing.
I love The Thing.
Kurt Russell, what a performance. Keith David, like so many great performances. Oh, Wilford Brimley.
Yeah. I mean, the movie it's just incredible. And it's like, and obviously the
Creature effects.
The creature effect.
Yeah, like genuinely terrifying when that guy's head comes off and the legs sprout out of it and it starts skittering around like a spider.
Right. And there's like something, it really upsets me they don't make movies like that anymore. Like, because I do think an audience would fall in love with it. It looked better.
Oh, yeah.
It looks better. I like that. I think that's undeniable, to be honest.
You mean the practical effect versus digital effects? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we were going to talk about The Thing. And you said that there was the more recent remake. Now I didn't see that one, but did it lean a little more heavy on the digital effects?
Well, there was a whole controversy with the 2011 The Thing. And I kind of remember because this is at the time too where like VFX was completely taking over everything.
Yeah.
And when the director, which I don't know the director's name off the top of my head, but when he signed on for The Thing 2011, he made a statement that this is going to be the revival of the old-fashioned SFX. Like this is we're doing everything practical.
Okay.
That's what he promised.
What did you think? How did it turn out?
Well, they didn't. So where the controversy came is they shot the whole movie with practical effects.
And here comes the studio.
The studio came in after test screenings and completely wiped it all. They changed everything with VFX. So they mapped the CGI and VFX over the practical effects. And what is so upsetting is they the company that did the SFX they were so heartbroken that I think they kind of like leaked the test footage.
Some of the original stuff.
And it looks so good. Like, you know, obviously if you're an alien from another planet and you're watching the two, you might stop and say, okay, there is the VFX might have looked more realistic at times. But like there's something so charming about the practical effects and something so inherently horrifying. And there's like this wetness to it that VFX can't duplicate.
So much grosser.
Right. Yeah. So it was such a missed opportunity, I think, especially for The Thing, because that's where you could have paid homage to the original. You know?
That reminds me of a little anecdote I heard about the Mandalorian TV show. And they had, who's that famous German director who talks like this all the time? And what's I'm forgetting his name. He's very famous. But he was appearing in the Mandalorian show. And I'll think of his name in a second. And they were recording with little baby Yoda as a practical doll. They made just the little doll. And then they were like, all right, you know, now clear the doll out. We're going to bring in the green screen. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, you have, this is what you need.
Right.
Like, use this guy. Don't bring in
Yes.
some graphic effects for this. This is what you need, because
Yeah.
this is perfect. He was like looking at this thing, and he's like, he's so adorable. Like, we got to use this guy.
Yeah.
And I think like the way his ears move around, and like there's something just that you can't reproduce when you're trying to make it all up from whole cloth, that you're just missing.
Yeah. There's a charm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's undeniable. There's a charm. It's the same charm that I got going to Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah.
Like there's something that's like, it's almost indescribable, but it's like, there's like a warmth in your belly.
Yeah.
When you see these things, which is also one thing that I think is so funny about horror is like, you would think for an outsider that doesn't like horror, and that's understandable. I get it.
Sure. Not
Uh,
for everybody.
when you say this, they might think you're absolutely crazy, but I think it's true. Like, partly what makes horror so great is it does make you feel warm in the belly. Like there is a relaxation thing to it. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that many people have told me that like The Thing is their guilty pleasure film. You know, it's the film that like it makes them feel good when they sit and watch it.
Yeah.
And there's something to that.
Yeah.
For me, like, I think there's a bit of nostalgia. Like, horror takes me back to being with my friends when I wasn't allowed to watch horror movies, but we watched them anyway, over,
Yes.
over
The forbidden
sleepovers.
fruit.
And it'd be 1 o'clock in the morning, and we'd be watching The Shining, and we were all horrified, but
Yeah.
we were too tough to say it to each other.
Yeah.
So we'd all sit there in silence watching this horror film, and then no one wanted to go to sleep afterwards. So there's like this, there's like when I watch horror, it takes me back to that like youthful
Yes.
feel of like life, and
I love it.
yeah,
It makes you feel good to be alive.
it makes you feel good to be alive.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do you think part of it is the fear of death?
It could be maybe for some people to work it out. I don't think I'm afraid of death, but maybe that's just because I'm saying that as a 30-year-old. Maybe at some point that'll change.
I don't know. I just wonder if like all horror on some level isn't just like triggering that subconscious death anxiety that we all carry around, that we, as human beings, we're one of the only creatures on the planet that can conceptualize death.
Yeah.
Or has any, but there are a few other animals besides us, but like, to me, that's fascinating. And we all carry this around with us. Like, we figure out at a pretty young age, the dog dies or grandma dies. And it's like, I'm not going to be around. Grandma's not going to be around forever. My parents aren't going to be around forever. I'm not going to be around forever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
It's like your way of like working it out, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
and you get to see these other characters working out these fears that you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's something to that for sure.
Yeah. Before we move too far away from The Thing, did you ever see the 1950s version?
Yes.
What did you think of that one? That was one of my dad's favorites.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So you've seen that?
Oh, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one, and that's where you could talk, I think, quite a bit about horror being political, but specifically socio-political. I think
Yeah.
more than anything, each era sort of, the movies, they kind of get the horror films they deserve.
Yeah.
The horror films
Well, they
that
kind of play on the anxieties of the day, right?
well, that's 100% what it is.
Yeah.
It's like the fear of the day
Yeah.
that
Gets translated.
and that's where they could make their political statements through
Yeah.
these fears. Like, I think it's interesting. Like, if you look at The Thing is a great way where you could kind of see where each era was. Because
Yeah.
it's all based on, I think, like a 1938 novella. I think it was made in 38 or written in 38.
Okay.
And it was called Who Goes There?
Okay. Have
And-
you read it?
Yeah.
What did you think? How did it match up to the movies?
It's closer to the 1982 The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it all kind of makes sense because so what they did is they took that source material, and then in 1951, right?
I think so. In the 50s, that's what I remember. Like
They-
the anti-communist era.
Right. So of course, they changed. Like all the people in the army are extremely competent.
Okay.
They're all exceptionally competent.
Yes.
They're all like the cowboy, right? Like
The American cowboy.
they're all the American cowboy. The main character, especially.
Yeah.
They all work out all the issues incredibly quickly. They
Yeah.
all know what to do incredibly quickly. Strangely, the villain of that film, almost as much as the monster, is the scientists.
Right.
The scientists are the ones that are portrayed as like these, uh, dorky, sort of like unable to understand humanity, and like knowledge is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
And there's a great line, if I remember correctly, in that one where the scientist even says, you know, in that like transatlantic accent, which is always an issue. Anytime someone talks in that transatlantic
A
accent,
little toffee English type talking.
that doesn't even exist. It's
Right.
just completely made up.
Right.
Anytime someone talks in that accent, it's bad news.
Yeah.
But he's basically says something like, "Oh, this creature is, so much more intelligent than we are. It doesn't think sexually. It's all about knowledge." And it's like, you're talking about you. You you are talking about you.
Yeah.
Like this
Yeah.
alien is like you personified.
Yeah.
And that was the feel, and it makes total sense because this is right after World War II,
Yeah.
right? There were still
The
fake
atomic age.
institutions, right?
But also, yeah, but I get the anxiety about scientists, like post-atomic.
Yeah.
Like suddenly everybody's scared about the atomic bomb's going to blow up the Earth, and scientists are the ones who brought it, right? With their amoral logic, their Spock-like reasoning. They're like, if we have this bomb, then wars will all end.
Scientists are like, what are you looking at me for?
Right. Hey, look, I just made the bomb.
Hey, come on, man. It's all about knowledge, man.
Yeah.
But then the 1982, the thing.
Now, yeah, if I could just interject, when you said American Cowboy, I thought about Kurt Russell, who is doing, like, in Big Trouble in Little China, especially, a John Wayne. He's basically doing a John Wayne impression. And so there's a little bit of that in the thing also, I feel like, with the sombrero, which John Wayne would never wear. But he looked awesome in that leather jacket and sombrero.
Oh my God, he really did. And that's also the funny thing about that is like, that's where you could kind of see John Carpenter putting himself in there, because it's like the thing, the 1982, it's like, here you have this like outpost of scientists, doctors, people, like, army men. And then the one who turns into the leader is like this like pilot, this helicopter pilot.
Right, who's drinking up in his cabin most of the time, drinking his tequila, like totally disinterested in everything that the scientists are doing.
Right. So it's like, okay, what is John Carpenter saying about the military? What is he
Is it the
saying?
everyman too?
Right. Well, how like the everyman, they may not be the smartest. They may not have the book smarts. They may not have, the honor and the work ethic of like all these other, people in me. But like for some reason, they just get it.
Yeah.
They get it. And he was on top of it, and he became the leader right away.
Yeah.
And then the scientists weren't really, I think, shown as like evil the way that they were in, the 50s version.
Yeah.
But they did very quickly turn into nihilism, right? Like very quickly, once they understood the threat, who was the scientist's character's name? Why am I Maybe Blair.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Trashed everything, got rid of the helicopters, wanted to kill everybody.
Right.
So it's like they took this nugget of knowledge and right away said, okay, we need to save humanity. The only way to save humanity is to make sure none of us leave this camp alive.
Right.
Which is a slightly different thing, right?
It reminds me of, which I love, the beginning sequence of that movie where you are just dropped onto the Antarctic, right? And the helicopter is chasing this dog, and the Swedish scientists they're trying to kill this dog, and the Americans are like, what is happening? And their instinct is to save the dog.
Yeah.
Right? And to like, what are these maniacs doing? And then saving the dog is what is their undoing, because that brings the alien into their facilities.
Master of Story, that movie was so perfect because it's like when you first watch it, you are so confused.
Yeah.
I mean,
it just drops you right in.
You're so confused.
No context.
But you can't wait to piece everything together. When you watch that a second time and a third time and a fourth time, you want to like scream at the screen.
Like, what are you doing?
Listen to him.
Right. Listen to those crazy Swedes.
You might not know what he's saying, but listen to him.
Right. He's speaking Swedish. Kill him.
But then also, like thematically, right? Like also in the thing, the enemy is from within, right?
Yeah.
In the 50s, it was very clear that the enemy was that outsider.
Yeah.
That outsider,
the communist.
The communist.
That's going to come in and change everybody's mind and make them all a bunch of commies.
Right. And now in the 2011 one, I don't think, that was it was a decent
So
enough
that's like War on Terror, just post War on Terror era almost.
right. And it touches on, I think, science kind of getting potentially hijacked by corporations and
Okay.
because there's this idea the scientist in the thing for 2011 is a little more similar to the scientist from the 50s version, except the difference being not this insatiable quench for knowledge. It's
Yeah.
more so like this insatiable quench for money and fame and legacy.
Yeah.
Being like, well, I know this thing is killing a lot of you guys, but hear me out.
Right.
Hear me out.
Well, is a little bit almost influenced by the Alien franchise with
Yeah.
the what's the Waitani Corporation or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That are willing to wipe out their crew members.
Right. Like, we'll kill all you guys as long as we get the alien corpse. That's what we really want.
Which is, I think, oddly,
It hits a little close to home. That's the amorality of corporations.
It's not too far fetched. I think.
It's believable. It is believable.
It's crazy that in 2026 you could watch that movie and be like, of course.
Right. Makes sense.
Oh, no, I saw this twist coming.
Right. I recently had comedy legend Greg Proops on the show, and I wanted to tell you about one of his latest projects. WeThePeople.WTF is a political satire site where comedy collides with civic expression and exists to make the current political circus a little less chaotic and a lot more funny. Each episode, comedians debate the funniest, boldest, or most unhinged protest signs, and viewers get to vote for their favorite. Voting does not only decide the winner, it also gives the audience the chance to receive $1,000. Together, WeThePeople.WTF and citizens are raising the voice of the people and laughing along the way. Comedy, cash, and civic engagement. What's not to love? Visit WeThePeople.WTF for more. You have this pattern recognition that ability, and you said you say it's plot oriented, but you could be watching a movie and something will happen in the first 10 minutes and you're like, I know what happens. You're like, I know the ending already. Tell me how you develop that.
Well, I love talking about how brilliant I am. This is my favorite. No,
absolutely. Well, that's for today.
No, I think well, that's also when I watch movies and I don't see it coming, or I'm reading a novel and
that's when you really love it.
That's when it's like I'm absolutely blown away.
Yeah.
And that's why, strangely enough, too, I'm sometimes drawn more to literature and movies that don't echo the way I would tell stories.
Yeah.
Which is why sometimes when I'm thinking about my favorite books in general, I'll talk about stories that are highly story driven.
Yeah.
And I'm actually terrified of that type of writing because it's you have to be a damn good writer and you have to
Why does it terrify you? I think
I'm not good enough.
I know anybody who is good enough.
I'm not that good.
If you can verbalize it, if you could put it into words, I think you can do it.
I think I don't have, the way that some authors are able to be oh no, here's the character. You're going to stay with that character and you're going to enjoy it. And they're right. I do. But for me, it's no, I need you to get chased by a monster here because I need to make sure that the audience, I need to make sure they're on board for this thing, you know?
Yeah.
But sorry, what were we talking about? What was the point?
Well, no, I wanted to know how you developed this pattern recognition.
Right. So the plotting thing specifically, I think always a student of film and wanting to write from a very young age, wanting to write scripts.
Yeah.
And you kind of see patterns. There's a scaffolding to it.
Right.
And you kind of pick up on the way that stories are structured, right? You pick up on the fact that usually the way I've heard it described is the rope. The rope is sort of given to you early in a script, usually within the first act.
Yeah.
The rope is sort of a metaphor for this thing that you're going to use to get yourself out of a situation in the second act or the third act.
Okay, so a little different from Chekhov's gun.
Right. So it is sort of Chekhov's gun in a sense, but it's the positive version of okay, so basically the solution is going to be there from the beginning.
Yeah.
Then you have to look at theme. Theme is established in the beginning.
Theme is a big part.
Bigger than I wanted to admit. I went to an art school, so I literally had to watch movies sometimes that was a 40-minute zoom in on a window, and that's all it was. There was no talking. It was just 40 minutes of
And they were like, the
window.
theme is boredom.
Right, right. And literally no joke. Like I watched that in class, and as soon as it was over, you could hear a pin drop. It was completely silent. And the teacher like looks at everybody very earnestly, very solemnly, and he goes, "Wow, that was something. We should watch that again." And I turned around, I'm looking, I'm like, please, please, for the love of God.
You're like, am I the only one?
I'm like, somebody say something, somebody say something. And this teacher turned off the lights again, and we watched
From the beginning.
the 40-minute Zoom. So I had an aversion to anything conceptual for a long time.
Yeah.
But then you finally start realizing how, when it's done correctly, how important it is.
Okay.
And how it completely colors the story and the characters, and it's closely tied with the plot. It's closely tied with the characters. But yeah, you could pick up on theme if you're watching something, and within the first 15 minutes someone makes some odd philosophical statement, you could be like, "Oh, okay." And then you start looking and then you start looking, because that informs plot, that informs character decisions, that informs twists. You'll notice that like 90% of twists are closely tied in with theme.
Yeah.
So once you pick up on what the theme is, then you're like, "Okay, where's the story going?" You could kind of start following the
I love
breadcrumbs.
this so much. So you're saying that like usually it's some sort of comment by a character that just doesn't seem to like it stands out to you in some way, that it's like, "Ah, hold on a second."
Yeah. I think the really good filmmakers and writers are the ones who kind of make it not stand out, the ones who are a little more subtle with it.
Yeah.
But like I was watching a movie, and I can't remember what movie it was, but it was with my girlfriend at the time. We were watching it, and within like the first 15 minutes, there's this random explanation. Somebody like picks up a rock, and under the rock there's a bunch of like insects, and one of the characters was about to swat the insect, and the other character stops them and says, "Hey, hey, they're just trying to live like the rest of us. They're just, they're reproducing, they're doing their thing." And I'm like,
Reproducing.
what an odd cluster of words, right? Like, what are you getting at? What are you driving at here? And then, and of course, completely tied to the twist, completely tied to where the story's going. So yeah, you have to just keep a lookout for that.
Yeah, well, I wanted. Do you have any more examples like that? I love this so much. Like, have you seen any movies recently where you were like, right away, you're like, okay, all right, I see what's happening.
Oh man, off the top of my head, I can't think of one. I mean, I could say for sure, like, what I mean, I don't want to do spoilers, but like a perfect example of this. I was talking to like a buddy of mine. A perfect example of this is like The Boys.
Which season?
I think I haven't finished it. I think it's season 2.
Okay,
Well,
is that the one with the Nazi female character?
yeah. When
Okay.
did they introduce Homelander's dad?
I think that might have been season 3. I haven't
Okay.
seen it yet.
Oh,
Okay, no,
oh,
but
oh,
go ahead.
oh, no, no,
Like,
no, no. I don't.
I don't care about spoilers. Go ahead. Like, all right, my viewing audience, I apologize, but I don't care about spoilers. So if you want to spoil it, just for an example, I love the examples.
Okay, well, like, so The Boys, a common theme through all of it was fatherhood.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
because every single character was going through something with their child. Whether
Was season 1, Homelander found he had a son.
right, so Homelander discovers he has
And Billy Butcher lost a son, right? I think.
right,
Yeah, because Homelander killed him or something.
right,
Yeah.
and I've been so far removed. I haven't seen it in years now, so I can't even explain the characters off the top of my head. But there's like 2 or 3 other characters where it's the same thing. All of them are having either issues with their kids or their children that are having issues with their parents. So
Yeah.
fatherhood was clearly
A theme.
a theme.
Yeah.
And then Homelander, now they discover this new character who is the guy from Supernatural. I'm blanking on who that actor.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
It's also in The Boys.
Yeah.
So they're trying to discover who this character is, and it's like, oh, he's someone's father. Like He has to be.
Right.
Because we keep
He just comes
like
out of nowhere.
it's like fatherhood and parenthood is such a theme
Yeah.
in every single episode. Like he has to be.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, he ends up being Homelander's dad. Again, I'm speaking of from this. I've only seen the 3 seasons, so I maybe something has changed since then. I'm sorry if it has. But I remember at the time being like, yeah, you didn't see this coming, like,
Yeah. Right. It reminds me. Oh boy, there's this guy I follow. Oh shoot, I wish I could remember his name. He has a whole garage full of video cassettes, and he just pops in random video cassettes. He buys and collects video cassettes and puts in random ones just to see what's going on. And he said that The Sopranos was ruined for him with season 2. And I thought this was so good because this really took the wind out of my sails because I love The Sopranos, like one of the great all-time series.
yeah.
But he's like, in season 2, they brought in Richie Aprile, and he's like this person from Tony's past, that we never met before, but he and Tony have all this history. And then, sure enough, at the end of the season, Richie dies. And then the next season, they have it's another Aprile. It's Jackie Aprile. It's the son, the nephew of Richie Aprile, and he's like, okay, I think Richie Aprile's gonna die, or the Jackie Aprile's gonna die at the end of season 3. Sure enough, and then here comes Steve Buscemi, season 4, another guy from Tony's past.
Yeah.
You never see more. And when you put it like that, it's like, oh my god, you're ruining Sopranos for me, dude. I love this show, but you're like so right that like this was a clear thing that they kept doing, where they just bring in somebody from Tony's past and kill them.
Right, right. And that's the thing too, right? Is like also when you watch a movie, and you kind of just understand the Hollywood system in general, and like it's just like a random movie with a bunch of kind of no-named actors, and then there's like 2 named actors, and you're trying to figure out who the killer is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Name.
It's gonna be one of those.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of those.
Right. Well, okay, but are there any recent highlights that did surprise you, like that really caught you by surprise, and you're like, I love it?
Oh, that is a really good question. I think more often than not lately that has been the case. I can't think right now off the top of my head one where I was like, "Oh my god, I did not see this coming. I didn't see the direction it was going." But I do feel like that's been the norm lately.
Is to surprise you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like they might be kind of getting better at it.
Okay.
Maybe I need
A
to
little less formulaic.
maybe they're getting a little less, and maybe that was the advent of like the way that TV has sort of come in, and
Mhm.
again, I think storytelling.
Force them to up their game.
Well, that's the thing, the difference between story and plot, right? There's something so organic.
What do you see as the difference between story and plot?
I think um I think the big difference is when your story is just following these characters.
Okay.
There's not a sense of like, okay, we need to go from A to B to C to D to E. It's like more this feeling of like, oh no, I'm organically watching this character navigate this situation. And sometimes it's not even a situation. That's what makes it so fascinating.
Yeah.
They're just navigating their life. And like you could feel it. Like um I think horror, it tends to be more plotted,
Mm-hmm.
kind of because it has to be.
Right.
But like Martin Scorsese, for example,
Yeah.
he tends to be more story. Like almost all of his movies are story.
Okay.
There's not no characters are ever in like a situation. It's just like them navigating multiple situations, going
Yeah.
from
But it's more well. So in that case, it's more character driven.
more character driven.
Yeah.
That's a great way of putting it. It's
Okay.
more character
So
driven.
character driven versus plot driven.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, listen, I'm simple.
Yeah.
I have a simple brain. It needs to hone in on one thing. Give me Bruce Willis trapped in a vent
Yeah.
any day. That's what I want.
It's how did you ever hear how long Die Hard was in development hell?
That's so sad. No, I
Like-
didn't know.
At one point in the 70s, Frank Sinatra was supposed to star in Die Hard. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yes, this was going to be
That long
because Sinatra had played another role by this same author. And then there was like, if this author does another movie, Sinatra has right of first refusal, I think, basically, on playing the lead role in whatever this guy comes up with next. And so this movie, Die Hard, sat in development hell for years and years. And it was finally like the 80s when Sinatra's like, I'm too old to play an action star.
Yeah.
I can't do it. And then they're shopping around and they're looking at Chuck Norris or whoever, they're looking at all the action stars. They're like, who could play this? And everybody's like, pass.
But speaking of Die Hard, like if you want to talk about a perfectly plotted movie,
Yeah.
maybe that's also, it's funny. It's like you have all these like memories and moments in your childhood that kind of inform who you are as a person, but also like creatively
Yeah.
and what you're driven,
Yeah.
towards. Die Hard was a movie. That's a movie I could watch nonstop.
I love
I
that movie.
can't stop. If Die Hard's on, I'm going to watch it.
Totally.
And-
And how much is just Bruce Willis's charisma?
Yes.
Bruce, that was peak Bruce.
It can't be understood.
That was like Moonlighting is one of my all-time favorite shows. I used to watch that with my parents when I was a little kid, and I still, as when I was in college, I watched every episode. It was on the Bravo channel, and they played it every day. And I would like rush home from class to go watch Moonlighting episode. And I loved it so. And they did so many creative things. They did one called Atomic Shakespeare. They did a Shakespeare themed episode, and they did a film noir episode where they all went back in time and it was all in black and white. But how much of it was Bruce Willis, his charisma, and then his amazing chemistry with Sybil Shepherd had amazing. But then, yeah. So same with Die Hard. There's a little just a little side trip, a little bit about lighting.
Alan Rickman. I mean,
what a great villain,
dude. Like,
I found a guy who does nothing but he talks about Suits on TikTok.
Yeah.
And he did a whole series on Die Hard on Alan Rickman's Suits and the other suits in the movie. And I loved it. I was eating it up. It was so good. Did you hear? Okay, little bit of film trivia. Okay, the last shot with Rickman where he falls off the building. This is so funny. They had him all rigged up and they have the big, airbag down there below they're going to drop him onto for like an 80-foot drop or something. And the stunt director's like, okay, we're going to hold your hand and we're going to let you go on 3. And then they go, 1, let him go. He's like, ah! He's like, so the genuine reaction on his face is like surprise and like, ah!
Oh, God.
I love that. He was so great in that movie.
Such a good movie. But if you want to talk about like absolute perfection when it comes to plotting, Die Hard.
Yeah.
I mean, everything from the very first moment on the airplane when he's told, hey, by the way, if you're stressed out,
crunch your toes
off.
Yeah. Make fists with your toes.
Which ends up becoming like the biggest issue for his character.
Dude, him walking through that glass is so visceral to me. Like I can like feel that. It hurts me to watch that.
Yeah.
Somebody walking through, like picking glass out of his bare feet. Oh, rough, dude.
Right. But I mean, and everything, like again, a theme that's set up very early in the movie is identity. His wife changes her name.
Yes.
Identity of, are these terrorists? Are these not terrorists?
Right.
I mean,
criminals, terrorists.
Right. Who's who? You know, like
his identity as a cop. His identity as a husband.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of see how these themes work their way into the plot.
Yeah.
And when you start noticing that, that's when, first of all, you realize how clever these writers, these filmmakers are.
Yeah.
But then it also, it's something that's fun to like look for.
Yeah.
But I think Die Hard is a prime example of like, they should show Die Hard to film students nonstop. And they could be like, this is how you plot a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Upping the stakes, upping the tension.
Yes. But sorry, I'm also very simple-minded. So I'm
having trouble believing that as the conversation goes on that you're a simpleton in some way.
I'm very much
wrote a novel.
Yeah. I'm very much a simpleton. Give me a villain, give me a hero, and I want to watch them go through tunnels. That's what I want.
I want to know, are there any horror movies that you find too disturbing to watch again? That they're just like there's just too rough, like you can't go back.
Oh, wow. Well, I think Midsummer was one of those movies
that you don't want to watch it again.
No, there's something that's so disturbing to me. I think
is it the old folks jumping off the cliff?
Yeah, That part I liked.
Oh,
I
you like
enjoyed
that
that part.
part?
No,
Okay,
no,
okay.
yeah,
When they smash that dude's head with the
I was
sledgehammer,
right.
it looks so realistic. It's so gross. Oh my god.
I no, so off the top of my head, I wish I would. There are certainly movies like that.
I have one. While you think is Cannibal Holocaust. Did you ever see that one? A
Uh,
famous Italian
you
picture.
know what's funny? That is a movie that I knew what was happening. That I did not want to watch.
Yeah, you beforehand. You're like, no thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
You made the right move. You made the right move.
Yeah.
There's a scene where the actors kill a turtle on camera,
Hmm.
and the actors really killed a turtle, and it was so disturbing to watch. And you can tell the actors are losing it. They are not. They're just being people, and they're like, this is so awful. They are not having fun.
I'm not okay. I'm not okay with that.
No,
That's actually not.
it was one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen, and it haunts me to this day.
Yeah, that director should face charges for that. I'm not cool with that.
He did
Yeah.
face charges, but not for that, because they part of the marketing for that movie is that this was found footage. This is way before Blair Witch. This is in the 70s, right? And they're like, this crew went to the Amazon rainforest
Hmm.
and they found a group of cannibals and they disappeared and we never heard from them again.
Well, they got the
But we
footage.
found the film canister.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
And there's a scene where one of the native girls, a young girl, is impaled on a spike, and they were like, so they brought the director up on charges for recklessly endangering these actors, for reckless, for basically for killing all these people. And the one they they had to prove, the young woman who played the native who had been impaled on the spear had to come and like testify that I'm not dead. It was just a special effect. I wasn't really impaled on a post.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it's so unpleasant to watch. Like it's like so what is it, the ugly American style? Like they weren't Americans, they were Italians, but they're like these Europeans, and they think they're so superior to this cannibal tribe, and they try to come in and and terrorize these people. Anyway, so that's mine.
No, no, yeah, that's fair. I think I would stick by my Midsummer
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
There is something that I find, but that's also the genius of Ari Aster too.
Mhm.
Like I think there's something about it where it's like you even though some of the characters are kind of despicable, like you don't like them, you still care about the fact that they're like young and they're making these decisions and they're getting
Yeah.
mutilated in ways that are like extremely disturbing.
Very, very.
I have seen that one a couple times.
I did rewatch that one recently. It was on one of the streaming channels, and I rewatched it, and I really enjoyed it a second time.
Oh, it's great.
But it's a bummer, and it's hard. It's like the things they put that main character through. What's her name? She's so great. The main actress in that. She's in everything these days. She's such a hot commodity.
Oh, yeah. Why am I Florence? Something?
Yeah, Flo. Florence Pugh.
Yeah, Florence.
I'm so bad with names on the spot, but Florence Pugh, her character, her sister kills her parents trying to commit suicide, or intentionally kills the parents right in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like such a rough way, and then that boyfriend's guilt about not wanting to dump this girlfriend whose parents and sister just died in this awful trauma. Like, all right, come with me to Sweden. Let's go. And it just turns out the worst.
But you know what? Like, and that's the weird thing about it too, is like, it's very easy to demonize the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Very easy.
Right.
But then there's a little bit, and maybe this also shows how selfish I am as a human. Because like, there is a little bit where you could kind of understand why sometimes it's easier. Maybe I'm just a wimp, but sometimes it does feel like it's easier sometimes to sort of accept that you're in a bad situation
Yeah.
and power through
Right.
than just like cutting it where you need to cut it.
Right.
And so that you could kind of relate to his character in a certain,
Totally.
but he's
Totally.
so unlikable,
Totally.
the worst human.
Totally.
But I think that's what good stories do, right? They really make you
They put
think.
you to, they bring you in an uncomfortable situation.
I feel like those uncomfortable situations are more. I run across them more often in books than movies.
Yeah.
I feel like there's more. But I just read a book called Brother.
Tell me about it.
That was a book that I think maybe in another 10 years I'll say it's my favorite book ever.
Wow.
But I
What
don't. I
author?
have no interest in reading it again.
Right. It's a little too scarring, a little
Exactly.
too fresh.
Exactly.
You remember the author?
Yeah. I can't pronounce her name. Ania Elhorn.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
She seems like she's just like she's a killer. She's killing it.
Yeah.
So many great books.
Yeah.
I can't wait to read more by her.
So you have read other stuff by
No,
her?
no, no.
Okay.
I can't wait
But
to read
based on
by her.
this one, you're like,
But this is a book that I've been seeing so many people have been recommending it.
yeah.
And I finally got around to reading it. And it was like it's that odd situation where it's like it's a book that you hated that you loved, so like you hated that you loved it as much as you did. Because it's like I wish every time I started reading it, I wish I wasn't reading it, but I couldn't wait to keep reading because it was so good.
All right.
It's like standing on a train track and you're seeing a train coming and you're like, well, I gotta see this through. I gotta see what's gonna happen. I mean, something interesting is gonna happen soon.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
Yeah.
So horrifying and so
Can you tell us just a little bit more about the book?
yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of East of Eden. Like there was like this East of Eden vibe. Have you ever read East of Eden?
Well, no, but I know that you get the two brothers and
Right. And
yeah.
then you kind of get the psychopath. There's a psychopath character that's
Okay.
so fascinating.
Yeah.
So well written. That's one of my favorite books ever.
East of Eden.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like that's a situation where you have this brother that's sort of the main thread throughout the whole book.
Yeah.
And they come from a killer family. So like
A family of killers.
their mom for some reason just like hates women, so they like their job as like sons is to like round up victims and bring it to the mom, and they live in the middle of the woods, and it's like
It's giving Shadow Family.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, they round up these people, bring them to the woods so their mom can have at them. And there's like something so disturbing. And one of the brothers, even though they've done terrible, unspeakable things, you root for them, like you feel their humanity. And
Yeah.
then another one of the brothers is like the worst human and just a straight psychopath.
Oh my God.
And like actually like secretly hates the younger brother.
Okay.
So it's like you see this like family dynamic play out, and it goes into some
Unexpected directions.
unexpected directions.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. When you were describing that, it reminded me a little bit of Begonia. Have you seen this one yet?
No, I haven't.
No, this is it's the guy Emma Stone is in it, and Todd, what's Todd's last name? They call him Meth Damon
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I know exactly who you're talking about.
from Breaking Bad fame. He's fantastic, and he kidnaps Emma Stone's character, and he's clearly a totally deranged. Like his ideas about the world are so off kilter. But then come to find out that his mother was bananas, and she was dying of something related to something that Emma Stone's company had, like a pesticide or something. She had cancer or something from this pesticide.
Interesting.
And then he developed this whole narrative, courtesy of the internet, of course, like bolstered by the internet. All like the internet is like feeding his psychosis, right? Where he goes deeper and deeper down this rabbit hole, that he's convinced that Emma Stone is an alien, and he wants her to take him to the mothership so he can negotiate humanity's future. and he like and he has this cousin who's kind of simple and sweet, but will do anything for him. And he totally manipulates this cousin. And then you get little backstories about the mother and how she was the same way as him, as the main character, and doing these crazy things. And then like you see how he got there. And and also with this whole storyline about the company, about Emma Stone's company, it's like it feels like there was some truth embedded in the craziness. So like there was something going on with what this company was making that was hurting people, that he wasn't totally crazy for blaming her for that. But
Yeah.
anyway, I would recommend it. It's on Netflix. But
That
yeah, very
that
good.
is a great concept because
Yeah.
I think there's some truth to that in real life. How
Right.
like there's always, I think, in a lot of things a kernel of conspiracy.
Yeah.
There's always something that we're not being told.
Oh, for sure.
And then obviously like when you recognize there's something I'm not being told,
Yeah.
that's when the imagination runs wild.
Yeah.
So you end up with this thing that started from
Truth.
truth.
So there's some kernel of truth somewhere.
There's something that's not right here, but
Right.
then you like, yeah, it extrapolates into something
Yeah.
that there's no way.
Right. You start feeding into the internet and the comment boards and Reddit, and it takes on a whole life of its own.
That's like, that's 2026, man.
Yeah.
That's
Tell me about it.
that's real right
What
there.
was the one with Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal? Where
Oh,
Joaquin
Eddington.
Eddington. I thought that was very of the moment.
I
Also,
loved Eddington.
I loved Eddington too.
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything enlightening to say about it. It was so interesting that another Emma Stone movie.
Yeah.
Emma is great. I love Emma Stone. So,
Great. She is great.
but there's something with his theme of his emasculation at home, that he was overcompensating so much in the outer world by projecting this, like patriarchal cowboy toughness out to the world,
Yeah.
right, in the middle of the pandemic, and like I'm gonna prove what a man I am by not wearing my mask during the pandemic, and that creates a whole series of events. But like um it all starts at home, where he's
Yeah.
seeing his wife is leaving him and she doesn't love him, and he feels so isolated and alone in his marriage.
Yeah.
And
Well, the moment that he, and again, this is what great storytellers do, where you like, even
Ari Aster, this is Ari
yes,
Aster.
it's Ari Aster again. Even when they do something that's absolutely horrifying, there's still this moment where you're like, oh, I kind of understand this, like
Yeah.
where he
Assassinates.
where he just gets completely humiliated
Yes.
at Pedro Pascal,
Right,
the
right,
mayor,
right, right. Yeah,
The
yeah,
mayor,
the mayor, yeah.
at his house, completely
Right.
humiliated,
Right.
and there's nothing to do, right?
Right.
There, you have to just take it.
Right.
And he's driving back in complete silence,
Yeah.
and he sees that the bar was broken into, and he walks into the bar, and he sees
The
the
homeless
guy
guy.
behind the
Yeah.
counter, and without thinking, he takes out the gun and just shoots him in the head. And you're like, no, what did you
Right.
do, you psycho? But then there's like this perverse feeling in your soul where you're like, I know what it's like
To be humiliated.
to be humiliated and to snap, where you do
Right.
something where you're so embarrassed about it afterwards, and you're so like, how did I do that? Now, obviously, hopefully you're never shooting somebody.
Right. But you put a gun in that
But
person's hand and,
you
and
put
give them the authority to
that
use lethal force.
you're a sheriff.
And basically, that's the story of these ICE agents out terrorizing the populace.
Right. It's like this thing where it's like you, as much as you hate it, you on some primal level you understand it, and then you hate yourself for understanding it.
Mhm.
And it's like that's what like really good storytellers do. And that's
Yeah.
what I felt in that moment where you're like, but that's also when he devolves into a complete I mean,
Right.
it's psycho.
His break.
He breaks right at that
Yeah.
moment.
And then he starts killing other people.
And then and then he's irredeemable at that point.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
right.
you're a monster.
Right.
But yeah, love that movie.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ari Aster. What was the other one was Hereditary, which, one thing I love about Ari Aster is there is stuff happening on multiple levels. It reminds me of 2001, Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick. Yeah,
Yeah,
like Kubrick is working on multiple levels, right? Like you could watch a Kubrick film and take something new away from it every time you watch it. That you're going to notice something you didn't notice before. And that can be taken to extremes, like in 237, the documentary where people have crazy things that they've seen in The Shining. But I think, those are the best filmmakers who are working on multiple levels, who are, you peel back the onion and there's more there than just the surface story, which you catch
right.
the first time, you get the plot, you get the story. But then the more times you watch it, the more rewarded you are in understanding themes and things that are happening below the surface, the unspoken things.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you
And
have any favorites along those lines?
well, I do feel like, again, this is where my inner art student
Yeah.
kind of sometimes I have an aversion to that. Like
Yeah. Oh, sure.
I kind of throw up my
Yeah. Hold on. Let's pump the brakes.
I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
But then there's sometimes where like you can work your way into something and you're like, oh no, there's something to this. The brain is such like the huge, like we're so interesting, right? Like
Yeah.
we love patterns.
Yeah.
And I think there's been a lot of situations where even filmmakers like George A. Romero
Yeah.
with Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
And you know this because you're a writer. Like you feel this. Like, have you ever written something where when you're done with it and you read it, you're like, oh my God, I'm seeing connections that I was not even trying to make.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I'm making myself seem smarter than I actually am. Have you ever done that when
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
that's how I feel when I write all the time. Like I'll read things back and I'll be like, oh, it's almost like I was setting up what's coming.
I got to tell you, the subconscious is so much smarter
I think
than the
you're right
conscious.
about that.
Like, and this is something when you're a writer, like you're working on your book when you're driving or when you're listening to when you're reading a book, when you're watching a movie, you're still writing like in the background. Like your subconscious is, just grinding away. Just
Yeah,
those wheels are turning and you're making connections and you don't even consciously, you don't always see it even,
right.
but your subconscious has made the connection.
And there's something to that. And also like even if an author or a filmmaker didn't intend something,
Yeah.
but it's evident there,
Yeah.
like it's still there. Like,
Mhm.
there's nothing, you can't take anything away from that. But like Night of the Living Dead is a perfect example. I don't know. I'm assuming you know where I'm going with this,
Well,
but
no, lay it on me.
Night of the Living Dead was made in the 60s. So obviously this is right during, race riots.
Yeah.
Everything was getting, and basically you have a situation where you have a lead character who's African American,
Right. Unusual choice.
who's taking control,
Yeah.
who's, basically fending off hordes of mindless,
Right. One of the only competent characters in the entire movie.
like
Like everybody else is making weird emotional decisions.
the only competent
Yeah,
character,
right.
Fending off hordes of zombies
Yeah.
who, like are essentially just like a bunch of like brainless white people who are like trying to break into the house, taking control of the group in the house, killing zombies outside. And then at the very end of the movie, as the
Who'd they
survivor,
kill?
they kill him.
Yeah.
And it's like, you would think, obviously, this is a political statement.
Yeah.
But George A. Romero himself was like, he was the only good actor that came to the audition. Like, I'm making this for pennies.
No, it's not like he even had a racial agenda.
There was no political agenda.
Wow.
But it's like, you have to be crazy not to see that.
Yeah.
So it's like, and knowing that, and then also understanding in my own writing experience how sometimes things just kind of come together, and you're like, oh my God, like there sometimes you have to. That's why sometimes I'm skeptical when people talk about like the genius of different filmmakers or authors, but at the same time, like, who are we to say that that's not relevant? Because, like you said, maybe that was something that was rattling around in your subconscious. It almost has to be, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like, how do you make a movie in that time and not think about that?
Right.
Right?
Right. Well, and it's funny because Dawn of the Dead is a clear commentary on consumerism.
Yes.
And the mindlessness of mass culture. And the shoppers, they're all the zombies. They're coming in and
Like
they're
it's brainless.
yeah, like they're just coming in and right, like they're just coming in and pretending they're gonna buy at the mall. So that so he's he was definitely working on that level in that one too. Interesting. Romero's great. And how about like give it up for Pittsburgh, right? Like bringing his film shoots to Pittsburgh, where he was from, and hiring actors there, and
Oh,
like as a Chicago guy, I respect for that.
yeah,
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
And just an incredible filmmaker and so important to the horror genre.
Oh, totally. Like, well, that's another one I wanted to, when we were going to have our discussion. Okay, so I'll just ask.
Hi, this is C.K. Morris, the author of The Shadow Family. If you like horror, action, comedy, if you enjoy skin-crawling, gore-soaked mayhem, grab a copy of The Shadow Family and check it out for yourself.
Buy your copy on Amazon today.
Well, that's another one I wanted to, when we were going to have our discussion. Okay, so I'll just ask. What are the ways that you see that horror is inherently political?
I think this is what I think it's kind of there are movies that are obviously political, right? Like The Purge. Like you can't escape
Right.
what
That
they're trying to
that it's a commentary somehow on
on
American
class and
class culture.
right,
Yeah.
right. And then even stuff like Rosemary's Baby and the Stepford Wives, like this
Sure.
is one where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
feminism and the
Yes.
fear of the patriarchy,
Anxiety.
the anxiety of like, oh my God, what the heck are these men, specifically these like white men gonna
Yeah.
do as they see their power getting sucked from them? Like,
Yeah.
wow, like how are they gonna react? What
Right.
where are they gonna go?
Yeah.
But I think more often than not, it's more about society. I think it's always been more about fears of
Holding up a mirror.
holding up a mirror and being like, this is what frightens me.
Yeah.
And then that's where they kind of, I think, explore those fears. And that's
Yeah.
where I think the filmmaker kind of shows where they are on the issue, right? Because like there's a lot of instances where what the characters fear ends up not being what they should have feared, right? Like,
Yeah.
and we see that a lot with like the idea of this, like the outsider. There's a lot of movies, there's the trope where it's like, oh my God, this outsider is horrible. We need to destroy them. There's the trope where it's like, we don't like this outsider, but then all of a sudden it's like, we need this outsider. They're our savior.
How you doing, Bubs? Just had a little snack. All right.
I think that's where that stuff is like really, really explored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when we're talking about zombies, there was like a whole zombie fad in the early 2000s war on terror period where it was like zombies were a stand-in maybe for we don't understand terrorists. They're just coming for us. They're this like mindless force that are, and looking back now, it seems like such a top-down thing that was foisted on us by the powers that be to create this anxiety, this Islamophobia. It seems so ginned up, honestly, in retrospect. But yeah, I see that. I see zombies as like a stand-in for this anxiety about these hordes that are coming for us, and we don't understand why, and they seem unstoppable.
Yeah. I think the zombie is such a versatile metaphor.
Right. It can be different things.
Right. 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 And like, so then like, why were slasher films, do you think? Like, why did they seem to really take off in the 90s?
Right. It was, well, or the 80s too. Like,
Right.
Like
Oh, you're right. Right. Actually, more so the 80s. Right.
Like
And then,
Jason and Freddy and
Yeah.
all that was 80s. And it was like, at the same time as Satanic Panic, right? Where like there's people who are just doing this violence, but I don't know. It might also fit in with Death Wish and all that stuff where there's just like there's violence happening and we don't understand why, and normal Americans feel like they're under attack or
right.
something.
Right. And like this lack of safety where it's like, because I feel like the home invasion horror film
Yeah.
is pretty tightly interwoven with the slasher. At least
Yeah.
it seems like to me. Maybe that's not always the case, but at least, especially in the 90s when you're watching. But like, yeah, this like fear of like not even being safe in your own home,
Right.
and the vulnerability with
Right.
that, where it's like,
and how much does like mass media gin up those fears.
Yeah.
Like, just by the low hanging fruit of this person was shot in Chicago and this person was in a drive by and this person got carjacked. And it's like, those are the stories that are easiest to cover for a local media organization. Like, just send them out, talk to the police, get a report from a witness.
Yeah.
And that's your package. Right. But like, is that really what's happening all the way across Chicago? Or was that like one thing that happened that day that's like, is it really symbolic of a thing that's happening everywhere?
Well, yeah, I mean the media. So I always find this fascinating. My grandpa told me this, and to this day, I bring up this story all the time, where it's like, it's crazy how much the media and film and pop culture sort of informs our fears.
Right.
Also,
Yeah.
because like, a perfect example is Jaws, which would
Yeah.
also be one of my top horror films ever.
Oh, yeah. Fabulous.
Before Jaws came out, the movie, which I think was 78,
Yeah.
before Jaws came out, people weren't afraid of sharks.
Yeah.
Like, they just weren't.
Because they're so rare.
Right.
Like, our actual shark attacks are like
Right.
single digits every year.
Yeah, it's
Right.
insane. Like, so my grandpa fought in the Korean War. Well, he didn't actually fight in the war, but he was stationed on an aircraft carrier
Okay.
out in the ocean.
Okay.
And he said him and the guys would jump out into the ocean randomly.
Never think
swim.
about it.
He said there would literally be fins circling them.
Curious.
Nobody cared. They just, in their head, it was like, oh, they're fish.
This is so funny that you're saying this, because I go swimming in Lake Michigan all the time. And I have like a atavistic fear of the murky deep.
Yeah.
Like, I've got my goggles on and I'm swimming in like waist deep water.
Right.
It's not even that deep, but like I can look over here and just see the dark, murky depths.
Yeah.
And I'm like scared of like something chomping me.
Right.
And it's like, there's nothing in Lake Michigan that could even like a sturgeon. A sturgeon's never going to approach you, even if it's 100-pound sturgeon that's 6 feet long.
Right. Well, it's like, and it shows you how these things could like really change your perception of reality. Now, like, obviously you don't want to jump off a cruise ship. Like,
Sure.
you don't want to jump.
Wouldn't recommend
that. But like, by and large, you're probably okay.
Yeah.
Like, alligators is another one that's kind of funny. Like, lately my feed has been filled with alligator deaths. I'm getting all these crazy stories
of people getting chomped.
Do you know how rare it is to get killed by an alligator?
I follow a woman on Instagram who is like, she goes in the Everglades all the time, like with a snorkel and a camera, and she's just like paddling around, and she'll see them, and like, she's fine. She's never been, that I can see, been attacked.
No, like again, you don't want.
Wouldn't recommend it.
If you see alligators in a swamp,
don't jump
into the swamp.
Yeah,
but it's like. Realistically, like, I don't want to get the stat wrong, but I think I read it was like in the last 100 years, there's been like, I want to say it was like 100. It's like you literally, there's been like 100 deaths, or it might have even been less, over the last like 100 years.
So,
which like equals like less than one death a year.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's not really what I've been sold, and that's not what I've been told.
But at the same time, there's something so atavistic about getting eaten
by dinosaurs,
by anything. I'm thinking of grizzly bears. Because I saw this great post recently, and they kept showing the clip of Leo DiCaprio, that grizzly bear charging Leo in The Revenant, where like that was a serious grizzly bear attack. Like, a grizzly bear is coming at you, you're done.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't have any chance against a grizzly bear.
Right.
Like, he's like 900 pounds.
Yeah.
It has teeth this long and claws this long, and it can, scoop out your insides without even trying. But it was saying that, this is interesting, that information about bears was kept secret amongst the early settlers who were coming to the Americas from Europe, that was like protected knowledge. Like, we don't want to let everybody know about these giant man-eating creatures,
right,
that are at the top of the food chain above human beings. And that just blew my mind, how like information that should be public knowledge, like giant predators in the area, that's a state secret. That's a protected secret. We don't want that to get out.
But even bears, like, you would think every time I go to Tennessee, I'm terrified when I'm like hiking in the Smokies.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah. Did you see it? Did you see bears when you were down there?
all the time.
Yeah.
And then you kind of realize too that it's like, oh, again, kind of rare. Like, even
Right.
if you see them,
The black bears, yeah.
they're not really all that interested in attacking you.
They've got
you know?
such a garbage supply.
Right.
They don't really need to worry about
They don't
that.
need to worry about you. They don't want to, they would
They're-
rather,
They've got so much leftover fried food they're prying out of styrofoam containers. They don't need you.
yeah, they could find a bologna sandwich. They don't,
Right,
they
right.
don't need to go.
They're
after you.
good.
And even, like grizzly bears are obviously more of a
Terrifying.
threat, but them too. Them too. It's
Yeah,
like
rare.
very, yeah.
But I heard this one interesting story. Polar bears, so deadly.
Yeah.
Like there was I heard something like there's some island and it's like got a bunch of polar bears and it's like you can't go to this island because you will be eaten. And somebody got dropped off on this island and like the polar bears are tagged and there was like polar bears were converging on the location before this person was saved and saved just in time, but just like they were coming to eat this person.
Wow.
Isn't that scary?
That I have heard that they're the one, right?
Yeah. You don't mess with a polar bear.
You don't mess with a polar bear
you-
because they'll actually hunt you. Like
Yeah.
they actually.
Yeah. That's scary.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, did you see this film trailer? I don't remember the name of it. Josh Brolin has got in a movie that's coming out, and he's not really the star. The character who plays his son is like a scuba diver, and he goes and he's like looking down into the depths. Like this is just the trailer, but he gets his scuba gear on and he's like right on the edge of one of those underwater cliffs,
Yeah.
looking down into like hundreds of feet of water. And here comes Moby Dick, one of those fucking sperm whales, like it just comes up and goes like a fucking star destroyer
And eats him.
over this kid. Wait, and then so it doesn't hurt him that time, and he just like is like in his scuba gear, like oh my god! And before he could leave, here comes a giant squid, like from the depths. And it's being chased by another sperm whale, like right on its heels. And the sperm whale's trying to eat this giant squid, and the kid is just like, it's like going right over him. And this is just the trailer, but like it's so crazy.
Is this the one that's based off the book?
Maybe
It's called Whale Fall.
it might be. I didn't catch the title of the flick, but
Okay.
but I saw it before Disclosure Day, and that trailer I thought was better than the whole Disclosure Day movie.
I haven't seen this one.
I kind of hated it, but anyway, we should Goose Island. We need to start wrapping this up. Before we go,
Yeah.
I want your top 3 horror books of all time.
Ooh, top 3. Okay. 100% Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury.
Oh,
I love that movie. I love that book.
Okay,
That book is so good. That book was so
is that
good.
short stories or a novel?
No, that's a novel.
Okay,
That book was so good. Like you could get goosebumps from the prose.
yeah,
That's how good it is.
I love it. Yeah, Bradbury classic.
And there were moments in that book where it's like there are scenes that just get your heart like racing.
Yeah,
And you're like, oh my God, where's this going? And I love that like creepy carnival thing.
Yes.
Well, okay, let me think. What else?
I read The Illustrated Man, which was the short story collection.
Right. He's
Also, like
right.
great short stories.
Oh my
And
God.
that, one of my top. Did you have any Stephen King on your top 3?
Oh, this is where I had a really hard time.
Yeah.
It's like
How do you narrow it down?
You could put
Any
anything,
Stephen
Stephen. I almost feel like one of my slots should just be Stephen King.
So
But
what if you had to choose one? Which would it be?
And I think it just constantly changes. But I mean, I would say Pet Cemetery, I think had
And you don't even have a kid yet,
no.
but like that's his parent.
Yes.
That's him as a parent writing about every parent's worst fear of
Yeah.
losing a child. Like
Oh.
that is
Horrifying.
yeah. But even without that, you rank that as one of your favorites.
And also, it's just like the character work in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I think I had seen the movie before I
Sure.
read the book.
Okay.
Or before I read the book.
Yeah.
And I think like the Pet Cemetery, the book too, I thought it kind of explored a whole different angle that I felt like I didn't get from the movie,
Okay.
which was the idea that like this entity was like 100% like hunting them, like doing whatever it could
To draw them
to
in.
draw them in. So it like I felt like in the book there was more of this like it was almost like this pall, right? Like this thing, this like fog, like a grease fire settling, this evil grease fire settling over the area. That
Yeah.
was like, oh, they recognized the new family, and it was like, let's get them, let's get them.
Yeah. They're just
Um,
waiting to be gobbled up.
right. I felt like in the movie it was more like, oh, this guy made a bad decision.
Right.
But it almost like it was like in the book, it was like it was destined to be. Like they were gonna get got. This was gonna happen no matter
Right.
what. It was inescapable. You know?
Speaking of the movie, like the scene with the sister who had the spinal meningitis or whatever that was so scary to me as a kid. Like that was the scariest part of the movie. Like to me, it was that sister and just that one or two scenes where they showed her. I was like, couldn't handle it.
Yeah, and it kind of this. It's kind of like sad too.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Right. Right. You feel sympathy for this, like
Right.
she didn't ask to have this awful disease, but the sister was scared of her sibling. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, wow. All right. Number 3.
Okay, so number 3 is purely. I mean, I would put I don't know. Would you consider The Road by Cormac McCarthy to be?
Sure. Why not?
I feel like that was one where it just made me feel so many feelings.
Oh, yeah.
So many
That one
feelings.
stuck with me for years.
Yeah, there was, and I don't think that's like obviously a traditional horror. I would probably say that's more of a drama, but there are horror elements. But like
Sure.
that was another book where you could get goosebumps from the prose.
Yeah.
Like, you just felt every emotion
Oh.
imaginable
Yeah,
reading that book.
I remember there was a part towards the end where they saw like a half sunken ship out in the water and they swam out to it. And I live by Lake Michigan, so I would look out on the lake for a long time and just imagine that. And just imagine like seeing this boat that like could have stuff on it that could save you and your kid. But yeah, like I remember reading that on an airplane. I brought it on a trip out of town. And I finished it on the airplane and immediately started reading it again. But like at the ending, I was just like sobbing, just
It's
just like
so sad.
so like yeah,
It's so sad. But then there's also hope.
right. There is some hope thing,
And there's this like, and there's this like redeeming moment that because the book is so nihilistic, right? Like there's so much for like anything. It's so bleak. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. You can't trust anybody. And then at the end, when the kid sort of gets adopted, by the
other family,
the other family,
yeah,
and you actually like you feel like, oh, that no, they're good.
yeah,
Like you feel like they're good.
right,
And then so there's this like hint of like, no, don't worry, guys. Like we know how bad it is, but
right,
there are good people,
right.
And then so it's like that very touching ending.
Yeah, I love. There's so many great scenes in that book. The cannibal family that they come upon, and they find all those people in the basement missing limbs that had been eaten, and they're keeping these people alive.
That's I think why I like that book so much, where you felt like every moment they stumbled on could have been its own book,
right,
or its own movie.
Right.
You could 100% do a whole movie about what the heck was going on,
or that hiding alongside the road when that parade of freaks comes by and they've got slaves and sex slaves and like they're all chained up and oh god.
You like every moment could have been a story in itself.
Right.
And that's what you feel watching it. It's like it was such a good contained story that at the same time did not feel contained to just a father and son. Like
are you familiar with John Hodgman? He's a comedy writer. He played the nerdy computer, the Microsoft guy in the Apple versus Microsoft commercials that were on like 20 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
So he wrote a bunch of books, but he started out as like a literary agent and he got his degree at Yale as like a literary analyst. And so he was saying how disappointed he was after reading The Road to find out that Cormac McCarthy, a 60-plus-year-old man, had a child who was like 5. And he's like, oh, I get it now. The whole thing is all about his personal anxiety about his kid surviving after he's dead.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Nailed it.
I think that's all he was trying to say.
Yeah.
Really.
Right. That's it. Just do some personal anxiety. I'm just working through some stuff. Okay. I'm just working through some stuff.
But even the relationship with the mom.
Yeah.
And like the flashback moment.
He fills up the bathtub with water after he sees the nuclear blast. He's like ready. He's like one of those people who's just like, all right, well, we're going to need water.
Right. I forgot. Yeah, that movie or that book was one. I've never seen the movie. Have you
I
seen the
have
movie?
seen the movie. Vigo as the dad. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
beat Vigo, one of the great actors. I love him so much.
Did the movie live up to the book? Did you?
I mean, it's not bad as like a little
Yeah.
Cliff Notes version, right? Like you get all the important parts.
There are some movies that I do think, very few, and most of them seem to be made by Spielberg, that seem to surpass the book.
Yeah, The Shining.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Although The Shining novel is also great. In
It
its
is
own
great.
way.
It is great.
Yeah.
It is
But
great.
like Jaws. I love
Yeah.
Jaws.
Oh, right.
novel.
But Peter Benchley is not a
Right.
huge novel.
Right. And Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah.
I
Michael Crichton.
I love Crichton.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Sphere was also great.
Sphere is another one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
Like that. Oh my God.
So
That's another
propulsive.
one. So claustrophobic.
Yeah.
So like heady too, because it does make you think about things in like ways you never like. What is a monster?
Yeah.
That's also the thing too. Like, yeah. But that's another example. Jurassic Park, another one.
Mhm.
There are some movies that are better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Than the source material.
Oh, yeah. It happens.
It happens. It's rare, but
It's
it
rare.
happens.
But it's its own creative thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, that is our cue that we need to start wrapping things up because guests are arriving for Veronica's birthday party. And so we need to wrap this up. So,
Yep.
Bill,
Oh man,
thank you so much. Please check out Bill's book, C.K. Morris, The Shadow Family. Fantastic. Absolutely.
And I do want to say this is one of my favorite shirts I wear all the time.
This is from Windy City Print Shop.
Yeah, this is a dairy themed shirt, which is everything that I felt.
Why don't you go out and say hello, and I'll be right with you.
This is everything that I wanted. Honestly, like my sweet spot with apparel when it comes to like movies and books is like I want those references that like only the people who like know
Are
get.
in the know.
There's something that's really great about walking down the street and someone being like,
"That's a Melanie Bennett specialty."
Right.
Well, you also have a sweatshirt that you love.
Yes. Oh, I have my Misery sweatshirt, which advertises the sledgehammer company. It's those fun things that like only like fans get, and you get it. There's an automatic just kinship when somebody like recognizes it on the street.
I have to mention that Stephen King is without question Melanie's favorite author.
Yeah, well, yeah, and apparently King loves the stuff too. Because
we can't talk about it, but because I tried to get her to talk about it during our podcast, but we'll get to that at some later date, perhaps.
Yes. Okay. Good.
But okay, Bill, thank you so much for coming today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I will end this episode the way I end all my episodes by saying, "Let's make them pay."
Stand up. Stand out. At Windy City Print Shop, you'll find original designs celebrating community, solidarity, mutual aid, and the belief that ordinary people can create extraordinary change. Resist with your whole chest. Windy City Print Shop. Visit windycityprintshop.etsy.com.
What is Substack? It's like the greatest newspaper that ever existed. Completely decentralized. So many talented writers and artists in one place. The roster is stacked. Substack is similar to other social media platforms, just packed with incredible talent. Some of my favorites: Michael Ian Black, Nana Bacon Aguirrewa, Adam Coleman always gets my attention. Fantastic journalists like Radley Balco, Hamilton Nolan, even living legends like Seymour Hersh and Chris Hedges. Cultural commentators like Jamila Jamil, Holly Solemn, Caitlin Johnstone, and Nathan Rabin. Visionaries like David Shing and the Peaceful Revolutionary. Substack has about every possible genre you can imagine. There's a feed like Twitter. I like Substack's feed way better than X. You can find vertical videos like you see on Instagram Reels or TikTok. You can scroll through this feed and click the links to find excellent articles, one after the other. News stories, analysis, criticism, fiction, poetry, visual art. It's all there. If you're a reader, you should be on Substack. If you like being informed about what's happening in the world without an editorial staff getting in the way, you should be on Substack. Decentralization is democratic. Decentralization is the future. Decentralization means everybody's posting. Everyone who gets a Substack account has the option to start publishing. It's kind of like having your own blog, but that blog can grow into its own masthead with paid writers on staff. Centralization is what we see in mass media. Just 6 massive media companies own about 90% of the marketplace. Everything that's broadcast from these channels is filtered through the perspective of their billionaire owners. What does Rupert Murdoch want? What does Jeff Bezos think of this editorial? Media companies are top-down authoritarian organizations. As such, they will always reflect the biases of their owners. We can see top-down changes happening at CBS right now. Barry Weiss and Larry Ellison have delivered a fatal 1-2 knockout to CBS News' journalistic integrity and hard-won reputation. Substack doesn't have editorial control or centralization. Substack's writers have journalistic freedom. It's like every person on Substack has their own printing press. That's decentralization. My content gets attention on Substack. Subscribing to letsmakethempay.substack.com is the only way to avoid suppression of my content. That's because every post I make is sent out as an email. This makes it easy to make sure you never miss a post and allows you to go back and watch or read it again. Every writer on Substack has ownership of their email list and can take it with them. Substack also makes it super easy to monetize your content. That money is not dependent on some creator fund or algorithm. A subscriber pays, Substack takes a small finder's fee size cut, you get your money. Easy peasy. Fair too. Decentralization. So check out Substack today, a really worthwhile platform. Maybe consider publishing a little content of your own. Flex some creative muscle. Download the app or go to letsmakethempay.substack.com to get started. Let's make them pay. Thanks, dude. That was fantastic.
You need to do a time lapse of how red my face has gotten.
I know how sweaty we get.
Yeah.
In this hot room.